Sarah, a dedicated nurse, drove home after a grueling night shift. Exhaustion tugged at her eyelids, the only sounds the hum of her car engine and the distant barking of dogs. A thick fog had descended, swallowing the familiar landscape in an eerie blanket. Streetlights became hazy orbs, their beams unable to pierce the dense white. Her phone displayed no signal, amplifying her unease. Sarah shivered, a prickle of apprehension running down her spine. She just wanted to reach home, to the safety of her warm bed. The emptiness of the road, usually a comforting sight after a long shift, now felt ominous. Every rustle of leaves in the ghostly silence made her jump. This was not the night for a breakdown, she thought, pressing on the accelerator. Then, in the hazy glow of her headlights, she saw him. A lone figure, shrouded in shadow, stood by the roadside. He was tall and unnaturally still, his features indistinguishable in the fog. For a moment Sarah hesitated, but the urge to help, ingrained in her after years of nursing, overwhelmed her apprehension. She slowed down, pulling over a safe distance ahead. The man didn't move, didn't even turn his head as she rolled down her window. "Do you need help?" Sarah called out, her voice tight with nervousness. There was no answer. The figure remained motionless, a statue swallowed by the fog. Sarah felt a chill. Something wasn't right. "Hello?" She tried again, her voice a shaky whisper. Still there was no response. Unease gnawed at her. Maybe it was best to just leave. Just as she was about to roll up her window, the man turned his head, and for a fleeting moment their eyes met. His face was gaunt, pale as bone, with dark, empty sockets where his eyes should be. A silent scream died in Sarah's throat. Her blood ran cold. She fumbled for the lock on her car door, her heart pounding in her chest. Sarah slammed her foot on the accelerator, leaving the terrifying apparition behind. She didn't dare look back. The image of the man's face seared into her mind. Her breath came in ragged gasps, her hands shaking uncontrollably on the steering wheel. It felt like an eternity before she saw the familiar glow of streetlights again, signaling the outskirts of town. As she dared to glance at the passenger seat beside her, a scream ripped from her throat. The man sat there as still and silent as before, his vacant socket staring straight ahead. Panic flooded Sarah's senses. Her foot pressed harder on the accelerator, desperate to escape the nightmare unfolding beside her. "Who are you?" she choked out, her voice trembling with terror. The man remained silent, his presence radiating an unnatural chill that seeped into Sarah's bones. She felt a strange pull towards him, a hypnotic draw she couldn't explain. It was as if he were a vortex, slowly dragging her into his world of shadows and silence. The car, seemingly with a mind of its own, veered off the main road, turning onto a path shrouded in overgrown trees and fog. Sarah's pleas for control went unanswered. The car crawled along the path until it reached a clearing. In the centre stood a dilapidated Victorian house, its paint peeling and windows boarded shut. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine. The air hung heavy with a palpable sense of dread. She turned to the passenger seat. The man was gone, vanished. Sarah scrambled out of the car, her legs shaking, and ran towards the road. As she glanced back at the car, her blood ran cold. Etched on the fogged-up window, a message in her own shaky handwriting sent a chill down her spine. It read, "Thank you for the ride home." Sarah didn't look back. She ran until her lungs burned and her legs screamed for mercy, the image of the ghostly passenger forever imprinted in her memory. The road, once familiar, now held a sinister undertone, a constant reminder of the chilling encounter on that foggy night.